Thank you so much, Ross. I am here with Julie Cherry, the ESF Project Coordinator at Reach Cornwall. Reach Cornwall are an employer-led initiative for the health and social care sectors across Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. Joining us now is Julie from Reach Cornwall to tell us more. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
That's all right. It's nice to meet you because you've been here one time before.
I've been here on air once before, and then to the premises, to the studios a couple of times as well.
Lights, camera, action.
I know. I prefer it without the cameras, but hey.
Oh, no, it's fine. So, firstly, for those that are new to Reach, like myself, tell us a little bit about the work that's being done there and the support that you give.
Okay, so Reach Cornwall started in 2018, and as you said, when we started initially, we were a standalone project, and we worked purely with the health and social care sectors. Since September 2020, so for 2 years, we've been part of the ESF Business Clusters project, which is 8 different partners led by Truro and Penwith College. So we still do more or less the same thing, but we sit under ESF Business Clusters now. And we also work with early years providers as well as the health and social care sector. So the idea behind the project is we try to find out, because there's so many training needs for these sectors, and we try to find out what the training needs are and try to identify some that we can possibly assist with and develop training and events to try and meet some of the need. And then pilot it, and we offer it free of charge in return for feedback.
That's great. That's so good. The fact that it's free as well, so like literally anyone could join in, basically. Yeah. So, like, what does your role as a project coordinator kind of involve?
Okay, well, we're quite a tiny team at the moment. Not quite as tiny as we were last time I was here. There were just 2 of us last time. There's now 3 of us. So we've got Amanda Thompson, who's our curriculum developer. So she's the person. She's a retired nurse, so she's got a lot of knowledge and experience in healthcare, and she's the person that develops and delivers a lot of the training that we offer. And then we're very pleased to have been joined a couple of months ago by Leah Hocking, who's our marketing and events assistant. So little team of 3. And because we're such a tiny team, we were at one time, there was about 5 or 6 of us. So because we're such a tiny team, we have to be a little bit fluid in the different roles we do. But the project coordination really is about trying to kind of lead the team, make decisions together about what training needs we can meet, how and when and where we meet them, kind of trying to develop the content, liaise with organisations, and particularly with the NHS, who deliver a lot of the more specialist training for the health and social care sector, and make sure that people know about what we're doing, that they have all information they need to come along, and work with the rest of the team. So it's a fun role most of the time. It's quite varied. I get to do lots of different things, which I enjoy, and there's a creative element because I was in the marketing role before, so I love the creative side of things. So it's a different kind of creativity, but there is a creative element to kind of putting the kind of programme of what we do together, which I enjoy.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So how do you kind of like identify where the training is needed? Kind of like, how do you go about that?
Right. Well, we've done some training needs analysis events, and we also, so obviously we use the feedback from that. We use the feedback from the training that we offer. We always ask people, is there anything additional you'd like training on that we could possibly assist with? And we also liaise closely with partners in the sector. So we've worked very closely with Louisa Forbes, who's a consultant nurse based at Royal Cornwall Hospital, and her team. So they work very closely with care homes, so they're very familiar with the training needs for care homes. So they are able to kind of help us, to understand needs and priorities and things a little bit more. With the early years, we offered a programme called LEAP, Leading Education and Aspiration Programme, which we did 2 pilots for, and they incorporated the ILM Level 3 award in leadership and management, and also some various bespoke sessions covering key topics for the sector, and they were developed in conjunction with Cornwall Council, so they their early years team, so they were able to kind of help us to understand what the priorities for the sector were and to try and address some of those through the programme.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you're kind of going back to kind of the community and the people who need it and just being like, what do you want? Basically, like, we'll do whatever you need.
That was kind of how it started out. Yeah. We've got to the point where we've probably been asked to do and assist with more things than we really have the time and capability to do, and we have got some ideas about what we'd like to do, because we're funded through the European Social Fund. We've only that funding is only in place until the end of December next year. It all has to be spent by then. So we're only really looking to deliver training for another year. So it's what we can realistically offer in that time, and also we're starting to think about what the legacy is going to be beyond the project, and trying to ensure that some of the training we develop is still available, perhaps through the college, through their new Future Skills Institute. So some of the kind of work is going to be on that, as well as developing new training. So yes, in theory, people can come to us with ideas about anything that's relevant for health or social care or the early years sector, but in practice, there's a relative, what we can actually help with is a relatively small amount, because we are a tiny team and we only have a year left.
In an ideal world, you could just say yes to everything. So kind of, what examples of some of the training courses and stuff that you've done in the past? Just kind of like run me through a couple of those.
Yeah, well, one thing that Chaos was very involved with was the Cornwall Dementia Conference that happened in May.
Yes.
So it wasn't just ourselves, it was very much a partnership with the Cornwall Partnership Dementia Board, I think they're called. So forgive me if I did get the name slightly wrong. We worked with them and other NHS healthcare partners to develop the conference and deliver the conference. So that was probably the biggest thing that we've done as Reach. But more recently, a couple of weeks ago, we delivered a sepsis awareness workshop. So that was just a one-day workshop. It was much smaller scale. And we, Louisa's team, Louisa that I mentioned before, she helped with delivering that as well. And that was on World Sepsis Day, the 13th of September. So about trying to raise awareness, but also there was some information about Restore 2, which is a tool that's been developed that we've helped to offer training on, which is about how people in care homes manage deteriorating health if any of their residents' health is deteriorating. So that's another thing that we've been very involved with. And then with early years, I mentioned LEAP. We've also got something that's coming up early next month, which is celebrating cultural diversity. And this came out of a training needs analysis event that we did with early years providers back in April. And one of the things that they mentioned there was that they didn't feel entirely confident about talking about kind of multiculturalism and offering that to the children they care for in a way that felt authentic. They'd do things for Chinese New Year or perhaps for Diwali, but they wanted to do it in a way that felt more cohesive and more authentic.
Of course.
And build up confidence. So we've got an event. One of the things we've got coming up is on the 7th of October. Is something a little bit different from anything we've done before, because we're going to do an afternoon and an evening. It's a Friday. So in the afternoon we've got a talk from Beresford Lee, who's part of a Rice and Peas Community CIC, and then we've got a workshop which is with TLC, Technology for Learning in Childcare, and that'll be more about how the kind of topics and themes that Beresford covers can be developed in a kind of everyday way in early years settings. And then we've got a more informal element in the evening where the Rice and Peas group will be cooking us some amazing Caribbean food.
Ooh,
and
I want to come.
Yeah, come along, come and cover it, bring the chaos team.
I have to talk to Nathan.
That would be amazing. We'd love to have you. So they're going to do some fantastic food for us, and they're also organising some entertainment. So we're going to have a couple of hours where it would just be a bit more informal and give people a chance to literally just celebrate diversity and chat about how they can take away ideas and inspiration and integrate them into what they're doing.
That sounds really, really fun. I'm sure you've got loads of other events that are coming up that we're going to talk about later, but I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it back. So what have you kind of been up to over the summer?
Right.
Cast your minds back to summer, which was only a couple days ago technically, but...
I know the weather has changed so much this week, hasn't it? It does feel like we've had to finally say goodbye to summer and embrace the fact. We've got the autumn has arrived with the shorter days and the darker, cooler weather. But so we had quite a quiet August. We did take August off, much as you do with KSTV. Because we part of Truro and Penwith College, and it is a quieter time, but we were still busy kind of working on developing stuff. In July, we finished off the second pilot for LEAP, so we had some lovely feedback for that. So that was kind of what happened in July. We had a very quiet August, and then September so far it's just been the sepsis awareness workshop. Although we did also assist with a taster day for some training that's going to be offered by the college that we're very involved with, but it's not actually Reach Cornwall as such. And that's a skills boot camp covering clinical pathways for care and health. It's a 13-week programme, and it's going to offer people in care homes in residential care homes and nursing care homes the opportunity to come and learn more about topics like catheter care, end of life. I'm going to have to look at my notes now.
That's no problem. There's a lot of information to remember, don't worry.
There is, yeah. We were hoping to get Amanda, who's our curriculum developer, to come along, but she's a bit camera shy. So she sent me, so this is what she'd be so much stronger on telling you about this. What else have we got? Restore 2 will be covered with that as well.
Wonderful.
Tissue viability, which is about pressure ulcers and trying to prevent pressure ulcers. Nutrition and hydration, a little introduction to the administration of medicines, because it's too big a topic to cover it in full. And also an introduction to the Cornwall Tier 2 dementia training as well. So quite a comprehensive range of topics being covered in that. And as I said, it's not being offered through, or it's not being funded through Reach Cornwall, so it's slightly different. Things we pilot through Reach Cornwall, we offer free of charge. With this, because it's funded through the Department for, let me just check, Department for Education, through the Skills for Life programme, there will be a small charge, which is just, I think it's 10% for SMEs, for small to medium-sized enterprises, which equates to £200. And it's £600 for larger employers, who I think are contributing 30%. But if the costs are a barrier to learning, please do get in touch with us and have a chat to us. And particularly with the SMEs, we might potentially be able to help there. That's
really good. So it kind of is as accessible as it can be, especially for those ones. That's really, really good. So do you have any go to the workshops and stuff that are kind of upcoming with you guys? I know you've got a few coming. And you've got some, over the autumn and winter. So we can go through those. You can tell me all about those and tell everyone about those. Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, we've got the Celebrating Cultural Diversity event on the 7th of October. So we're quite excited about that. We've had quite a lot of interest in that, and we offered 30 places for the full event. I think those are all now taken. We've had a lot of registrations.
That's wonderful.
But we've offered another 20 for the evening, and we've still got some of those left. So if people want to just come along and have the food and enjoy the entertainment and have a
a sort of more informal opportunity to attend, then we'd love to have more people come along. The day before that, the 6th of October, we've got the third in a series of 3 webinars with Dr. Sharon Eustace, covering urinary continence and catheter care, and this one's going to have a particular emphasis on looking at future options for bladder health. So possible solutions that hopefully mean that catheterization isn't the sort of seen as the primary option, that maybe offer other options, because with anything like catheterization, it has quite a big impact on people. So impacts on maybe on their confidence, on their kind of feeling feelings about how sociable they want to be with people, on their relationships, and also it is it adds to the risk of infections and things like that. So if people can if people are interested, it's a 1-hour webinar. Sharon is so passionate and knowledgeable about the subject, and she's been conducting some of her own research as part of her doctoral thesis, I'm hoping that's the right expression, as part of her PhD, anyway, which she's recently completed. So she's got all these exciting new kind of options to talk about. So we'd love people, because it's a webinar, we can have as many people as want to attend.
It's very accessible as well to do that. So literally, anyone can join if they want to.
Absolutely. So we'd love to have more people come along and find out about that. And also what we tend to do with the webinars is we record them. And if there's nothing on there that isn't sort of confidential, or there isn't another reason why we can't, then we put the links for the replays on our website so people can access it afterwards as well. But
that's wonderful.
It'd be lovely to have people on the day, because there'll be a time for kind of questions and answers towards the end, and it's fantastic for people to have that opportunity to tap into all that knowledge that Sharon's got.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I know on the 17th of November you have pressure ulcer pressure I can't say it.
I can't either.
We'll do it. Pressure ulcer prevention workshop.
I know. I think we might have to rename it, because I can't say it either. So I'm so glad you've said it for me.
It's such a tongue twister.
It is. And that is Stop Pressure Ulcer Day, which is thankfully much easier to say.
Yes, it is. I got the hard one.
You did. So this is about tissue viability and about prevention, because if people are bedbound, then there is a higher risk, obviously, of developing pressure ulcers. I have to put in the caveat here that I am not clinically trained. Amanda is a retired nurse. She is, again, the person that can tell you so much more. But I'm going to see if I can persuade her to come along with me next time, so
definitely.
she can.
If we can have both of you, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. So I will do my best to explain, but obviously I'm not clinically trained.
Yes.
So as I understand it, there's when people are bedbound, there is quite a high risk of people developing pressure ulcers, and then they don't, sorry, it's not very pleasant lunchtime discussion, but they don't heal very well, and then they become a potential source of infection, and also they're painful as well.
Of course.
So, and uncomfortable, and some people are embarrassed about having pressure ulcers as well. So the idea of the workshop is to help people understand what they can do to try and prevent them forming in the first place. So we've had quite a lot of interest already. We've not really publicised it much yet, but there's been quite a lot of interest. I think there's 25 places for that one, happening on the 17th of November, as you mentioned, at the Victoria Conference Centre in Roche. I think we can have about another 10 people come along, and we do keep a reserve list as well, because often there's last minute dropouts because of staff shortages, or people's rotas change and things like that. So if people are interested, then do get in touch with us. I can go through our contact details at the end, but I can also pass them on, because it's probably far better for people to view it on a screen.
We can get that on socials. 100%, I can do that.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah, we've got some more.
Yeah.
We've got the Wednesday 30th of November. Hopefully this is going to be easier for me to say. Timely medication for falls prevention in Parkinson's disease. It's a webinar, I believe.
Yeah, that's another webinar. I think that's going to be about 2 hours in the afternoon, and that is with I'm sorry, I'm just going going to have to check I've got the details right.
Don't worry.
Lynn Osborne, who's a consultant nurse for the Parkinson's Disease Service, and she's part of Cornwall Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. So it's going to be her and other members of her team, and they're going to explain obviously a little bit more about Parkinson's disease, but particularly focus on why it's so critical for people to have the medications they need on time, and how that helps with trying to prevent falls, obviously for, because we want people to have the best possible care they can, but also because there is such enormous pressure on the hospitals and the emergency services. So anything that can be done that helps reduce the incidence of falls has a knock-on effect. So we'd love it if people would like to come and find out more. We've got that one up now on Eventbrite, so people can register via Eventbrite, and I think we only put it up a few days ago. I think we've already got 12 people registered.
That's wonderful.
And we haven't really promoted this one yet, so you are amongst the first to know about this. So.
An exclusive.
Yeah. So again, that's something else that's happening. So that is pretty much what we've got planned between now and the end of this year, but we've got other things at the idea stage for next year, so maybe I can come and let you know about those in another month or two.
Can we have a little exclusive, or is it under wraps?
Oh gosh, you're testing me now. What have we got? What have we got we can tell you about? With Restore 2, we are hoping to offer some train the trainer workshops. It's looking at the legacy beyond the end of the project and how people are going to be able to access that training when Reach Cornwall sadly is no more.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to offer some train the trainer workshops to give lots of other people the knowledge and the confidence to deliver the training. So that's one thing we've got planned for the health and social care side. Also, if the Celebrating Cultural Diversity event is successful and goes well, and we get lots of positive feedback, we're hoping to offer something similar in the summer. But maybe perhaps in June when it's Pride Month,
that would be lovely.
Make it more cover more elements of diversity, and maybe offer that perhaps for the early years sector, or for the health and social care sector, but perhaps also open it up to the early years sector. And we're also hoping to do that in conjunction with Hospitality Table Cornwall, who are another project similar to Reach Cornwall. The two projects have run side by side since 2018, and they're also part of the Business Clusters project, and they work, as the name suggests, they work with the hospitality sector. So that's something we're hoping we might be able to offer probably in June.
Yeah, it's all very exciting.
So lots of things we're hoping we can do before we finish, and then maybe September next year, because September's pain management month, and we have had requests for training in the past around pain management, so hoping maybe as a final event we can offer something around pain management, but also maybe also involve Hospitality Table Cornwall in that, because they also work with hair and beauty, but that also involves holistic therapies, things like Reiki. So maybe we can also include an element in that looks at a holistic approach to wellness, because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want everybody to be as well as possible, and look at ways we can achieve this in hopefully in ways that are less medicalised, or in conjunction with a medical approach as well.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Where can people find out more information about this? So you've got a Facebook that you keep quite up to date, I believe?
We've got a Facebook, Now we've got Leah as part of the team. It's a lot more up to date than it was when I was trying to cover 4 roles, which was a bit of a challenge. So yes, you can have a look at our Facebook page, which is Reach Cornwall. We've also got a website, reachcornwall.org.uk. Most of the events you can register for on Eventbrite.
Wonderful.
So if people are interested in the Celebrating Cultural Diversity, if they're interested in the webinar covering continence and catheter care and alternatives, they can, both of those on Eventbrite, and also the, now I've got to say it, I haven't yet, the Timely Medication for Falls Prevention in Parkinson's Disease, that is also via Eventbrite. So the web address for that is reachcornwall.eventbrite.com.
Wonderful.
For all of those. For the skills bootcamp covering clinical pathways for health and care. That's on a different Eventbrite because it's not being run by ourselves as such. We're involved with it, but we're not running it. So that you can get to at clinicalskillsbootcamp.eventbrite.co.uk. And for the pressure ulcer prevention workshop, it is such a struggle to say, on the 17th of November. The best way to request a place for that is to get in touch with us directly, which you can also for any of the other things I've mentioned. Our phone number is 01872 305 621, or you can email us at healthandcare@truro-penwith.ac.uk.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming in to talk to us today. It was very, very interesting to learn more about Reach, and I'm sure I'll see you again soon. Thank you to everyone at Reach for the great work you're all doing, and we can't wait to have you back with us, and maybe you can convince Leah too. I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll see if I can bring the full team next time. Yeah. And thank you so much for inviting us and allowing me to tell you a bit more about what we're up to.
Our pleasure. Right, I think we're going back to Ross in the studio now.